welcome to Anime Audio Commentary. Today I'll be commenting on episode 6 of Spy Family. If you'd like to watch along, then start watching now. Alright, so last episode was sort of the calm before the storm. You know, Anya had gotten accepted into Eden Academy, and they had a celebration of sorts. But now's where things get really serious. You know, Anya presumably goes to the academy, and Operation Strix gets put underway in earnest. Of course, it seems like people are still vaguely suspicious of Yor's cover, considering how Yor is, I guess, a frequent customer of this tailor, and she never mentioned anything. So if we thought things would be smooth sailing now, the tailor is nice enough to remind us that Eden Academy is very discriminating towards the children of alumni and those who aren't. Or I should say, they discriminate between the two. Naturally, Anya understands how horrible this will likely turn out for her, considering not only is she a fraud, in that she's not actually Lloyd and Yor's child, but you know, she kind of fudged her way through the exam anyways. So Anya, as she is wont to do, is sort of worried about something that's not really an issue. So once again, Lloyd is sort of, I guess, receiving codes from seemingly ordinary people in restaurants and places like that, giving him, you know, the information on a new mission or something like that. Must be pretty tiring, you know, having to stay on top of all the codes and everything. It seems like things are being shaken up a little bit. You know, Lloyd has stuff to do, so he's leaving Anya with Yor. To my memory, this is, I guess, the first time they've really had any alone time together. Not that I think it should be a problem or anything, but I'm sure Yor will think something like, boy, I should slaughter somebody, and Anya will not take too kindly to hearing that thought. Here we have it. The expenses immediately bite Lloyd in the butt. I mean, I guess that's what he gets for spending so much money. Of course, they were necessary, sort of, to the success of the operation, but... Man, I thought that would just be like a little one-off joke at the end, like, oh, is there an extra zero here? So I guess for the benefit of the audience, for those of us sitting here in the cheap seats, we're getting a little rundown on the Academy, and precisely how prestigious it is and how it works internally. And I guess it also has the secondary impact of letting us know what sort of goal Anya's going to have to strive towards. In this case, those little, those stellas, those merit badges. So it seems like Anya is going to have to be a model student if the operation is going to succeed. So there we go, that sets it up pretty nicely. There is a goal to strive towards and a punishment to strive to avoid. And knowing Anya, I don't think things are going to go very well right off the bat. Of course, having read the manga, I already kind of know that, but... It's how it happens that makes it really interesting. As one might expect, Yor and Anya get a little carried away with the stabilizing influence of Lloyd to keep them on task. Anya can't help herself. She has to go and show off her uniform to everyone. Of course, considering she's just going to a park with a bunch of ordinary students, it might not be the best idea to advertise that you're going to an elite academy. If only because it would engender resentment among other people. So I guess this is one of the main conflicts as far as Yor is concerned. She knows the whole thing is just for show, but she does want to be a good mother. So, in light of acting like a mother, she's going to take Anya to the supermarket, do shopping, and all that good stuff. Unfortunately, they seem to have attracted the attention of some hoodlums. And they're under the impression that Yor's just like a nanny or something, presumably because she's not as attentive as perhaps she should be. So Anya's still keen on showing off her nice uniform. But it would seem that her earlier thoughts about being kidnapped might not have been as far-fetched as Lloyd would have thought. So unfortunately for the hoodlums, they don't realize they're messing with the master assassin. I can't imagine a bag full of groceries would have hurt too much, but if you're not expecting it... I like the casual way that she threatens them, saying, I don't have any money, so you guys go home and there won't be any trouble. She doesn't even really threaten them too much. I would think that's pretty mundane compared to what she's been known to do. But it certainly did the trick. So curiously enough, Yor seems to be taking this much harder than Anya. Of course, Anya probably knew that things would turn out alright with Yor around. This is a nice little resolution. Anya declares that she wants to be more like Yor, even if she's not an ideal mother. And to that end, she wants Yor to train her. Generally speaking, it's, little kids aren't known for their self-control, and self-control is sort of foundational to martial arts. Lloyd gets this. He knows that there is trouble brewing. So it seems Anya didn't quite understand the concept of a uniform. She thought her outfit was special, but there are a lot of people wearing the same one as her. Man. I really think Anya is a good encapsulation of how children tend to think. How they don't understand certain concepts. So it would seem that the mission is to get Anya to be the top in her class. So, given what Lloyd has already sort of gathered, that seems like it's not gonna be feasible. So, whoops. I'm trying to read the subtitles. I think she already missed her name. But... oh well. What was I saying? Oh yeah. So if she can't be the top in her class, her best bet is probably to make friends with that kid. Try and get an in at Donovan Desmond that way. So of course this is sort of like the plan B. Ideally Anya would still be the top student. But, in case that's not feasible, Anya should at least try and make friends with him and, sort of set up a play date or something like that. Of course, no plan survives contact with the enemy. So, for as much planning as Lloyd puts into this, Anya has ways of causing trouble. And considering that she is now armed and dangerous with the martial arts of Yor, I don't know, man. So that Damien kid's already kind of a jerk, as one would expect. But Anya's already kind of giving in to that, you know. She knows he's a jerk, she's not going to tolerate that. She can hear his thoughts, worst of all. So Lloyd, he's already done a lot of research about all this. He knows all of the students and who their parents are. Oh boy. He wants Anya to make friends with all of them, but she can hear their snide thoughts, and all of them are, snobbish rich kids. She doesn't fit in terms of temperament. Anyways. Oh man, it's an uphill battle. So this is sort of like the maiden voyage right now. Anya's going with her classmates, while the parents have to sort of sit and wait. For what it's worth, the academy looks very, very regal. I find it very interesting that Henderson, when talking about failure, kind of looks in Anya's direction. He already sort of knows, or at least suspects. Alright, it begins. This is first contact here. Damien has come over to try and, tease Anya for the lack of prestige that her parents have. Anya's a little presumptuous in wanting to be friends, and that doesn't really, bode well. So already you can see the internal conflict here. Anya wants to slug that kid, but Yor has already sort of instructed her that, you have to maintain your calm. If you just go around hitting people, you're not truly strong. Anya wants to be strong. So she's putting up a calm front, but unfortunately she comes off more smug than calm. Oh boy, that just pours gasoline on the fire. So on the one hand, this impresses Becky, but on the other hand, it pisses off Damien. So it's sort of, I would call that a net loss. Oh, she just keeps doing it. Oh man, even Becky's giving her backhanded compliments. So Henderson's onto them, but he's not paying as much attention as perhaps he should. And worse yet, Anya sort of gets the impression that maybe Yor wasn't being entirely truthful about smiling. Of course, Yor didn't tell her that you need to actually smile, not sort of sit with this smug expression on your face. So Damien throws down the gauntlet. He's going to make school as miserable as possible. And you know what? This is the breaking point. Pow! Right in the kisser. Anya's not playing around with the punch like that. Immediately she comes up with a totally implausible lie for what happened. Oh, boy. So things aren't really good for Anya. But at the very least, Becky's sort of sticking up for her. You know, that probably won't get her out of trouble entirely, but at the very least it might temper the punishment. So Anya, I mean, it's not a lie, but that's not the reason why she punched him. So at the very least, she has managed to earn a little bit of respect from Henderson, despite being a bit of a troublemaker. And I guess, if nothing else, she has also made friends with Becky. You know, I suppose punching Damien is probably a far bigger loss than making friends with Becky, but, you know, at least he got something out of it, you know? So Henderson is, at the very least, taking it easy on Anya. Lloyd is understandably mortified. You know, this isn't just harming her admission, this is harming the mission as a whole. The photographer has to ask them to smile. I imagine there wouldn't be a whole lot to smile about after a day like this. Alright, well that's it for this episode. If you've enjoyed it, then by all means, tune in for the next one. See you, Space Cowboy.